Jerusalem, the holy city. Nowhere on earth has inspired such love, hatred, and passion. For thousands of years, people have come here to meet with their God. Jerusalem, they believe, is a gateway to heaven. Here, they're as close as they can physically be to the divine. But although they worship the same God, they do so in different ways. One God has inspired three great religions. All three love Jerusalem, but all three have claimed it as their own. The city has been conquered, destroyed, and rebuilt over 20 times in 30 centuries. In the Middle Ages, there were maps which placed Jerusalem at the center of the known world. And in some ways, the world has not changed. No city has a greater concentration of journalists. A stone is thrown here, a shot is fired, and the news reverberates around the globe. This dusty Middle Eastern town can still capture the imagination like nowhere else. This is the story of people past and present who have tried to make sense of this town, to understand its power, to live with its holiness. Judean hills in the eastern Mediterranean. Here, more than 5,000 years ago, with the first breath of civilization, men discovered a mountain. And for reasons that cannot be explained, they knew that this mountain was a link to the divine. It was holy. We do not know what gods were first worshipped here. It may have been Shalem or Baal, but a city slowly grew around this place. And then 1,000 years later, a warrior king came and took this city from the Jebusites, and he made it his capital. Only a few ancient walls now remain. And he brought with him a new god. This was to be the only God, and his name was Yahweh. The warrior king was David, who had made the 12 tribes of the Jews into one. And his God had no form or physical shape. The only evidence of his presence was an ark. The Ark of the Covenant. David brought the ark to his city, and his son Solomon the Wise placed it on the mountain. And he built a great temple around it. This was now the home of God. 3,000 years later, that holy mountain lies hidden under a great platform made of stone, the Temple Mount. No temple remains, but Jews from all over the world still gather at the remnant of the ancient wall which supported it. God's presence is believed to have escaped the temple's destruction and to live on in this place.
The divine presence rests literally on the other side of that wall. Everybody comes to talk to God. People can ask for whatever they want. They can ask for a new car or a new apartment or a wife or a husband or healthy children or health for themselves or whatever it is that they want.
For Baruch Kaplan, these stones lie at the very center of his faith.
For me personally, I can touch my relationship with God to the extent that I can touch these stones, because these stones have been standing here listening to the prayers of mankind, most particularly Jews, for thousands of years.
Packed between the stones of the wall are countless messages and prayers. The city has appointed a special mailman to deal with the thousands of letters that arrive each week in Jerusalem, addressed to God.
People from all over the world write to us in about 90 languages. Usually people have different questions to God and they ask for help. What I do is to take those wishes, those letters, to the Wailing Wall. I have here one of a lot of letters that came from the States. A doctor writes to God and he asks him to help to cure his patients. Anyhow, I don't think that I would like to be one of his patients.
But what of the site of the Jewish temple, on the very summit of that holy mountain? Directly above the western wall stands a magnificent Islamic shrine. The dome of the rock was completed in the year 691, when Jerusalem was ruled by the Muslims. Within its walls can still be found the bare pinnacle of the mountain. Central to the faith of Muslims and Jews, it is believed that here, on this rock, Abraham offered his son as a sacrifice to God. This shrine was built in his honor. The Jews call this rock Evan Hestia, the stone of foundation. They believe that this is the point from which the world was created and that it lay at the very heart of their temple. This rock also lies at the heart of the Islamic faith, where it is known as El Sakra. According to the Quran, the Prophet Muhammad was brought here one night on a winged horse. He climbed onto the rock and ascended to heaven, where he conversed with the 10 great prophets of Islam and Allah himself. He then returned to earth, remounted his horse, and flew back to Mecca, all before daybreak.
This is a miracle. This is a miracle. This is for me something over logical.
Shireen Al-Araj is a devout Muslim born in Jerusalem. She has been coming to the Dome of the Rock since childhood.
I like the feeling that everybody's coming here, like all the Muslims from all over. We have the same feeling, we share the same thing. I mean, everybody's praying, everybody's thinking, everybody's charging himself, everybody's cheering up. If you go around, you'll find a lot of people crying.
"400 yards away, the bells ring out at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the center of the third faith of Abraham, Christianity. Within this building's walls lies another holy rock, the rock of Golgotha, upon which it is believed Christ was crucified, and the Holy Sepulchre, the site of his tomb. This church was built in 1149, but legend has it that the holy sites had been picked out more than 800 years earlier by the Roman Empress Helena. Her son Constantine had been the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity. In 312 AD, as he led his army into battle, he had a divine vision. After his victory, he declared that Christianity was now an official faith of the empire. The world would never be the same. His mother is also believed to have had miraculous visions. When Constantine brought her to Jerusalem, Helena pointed out